Well, by tomorrow evening, Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, will be the world's 15th richest man.
Shares in the social media site are about to go on sale, and the much-hyped flotation will value the company at $104 billion.
Facebook's mission is to make the world more open and connected. And what we mean by that is that we think that people's lives are going to be better, and really that the whole world will function better when there's more information and understanding out there about both big things that are happening in the world and local things, what's going on with your friends and the people around you. In the world, in theory, there exists this kind of map or graph of all the relationships between people. They're the real relationships that exist.
The social graph is something that's always existed as long as there were two people on Earth that knew each other.
Well, joining us is David Jones, the Chief Market Strategist at IG Index, and Rachel Clarke, Head of Social Media at the marketing agency Momentum UK. Good to see you both. David, if we could start with you, there's been a lot of hype, obviously, around these shares, and everybody knows what Facebook is. But do you think it's going to make the revenue to justify what is already looking like quite a healthy share price?
I think that's the big question. I'm sure on Friday, if we look at when it floats tomorrow, if we look at what the likes of LinkedIn and Groupon did on their first day, we will see quite enormous demand, I think, throughout the day for the shares. But medium term, it's a much more difficult battle they've got. The profits for last year were $1 billion. Already this year, the first quarter's profits slightly down from where they were this time last year. So there is that question mark over can they justify this valuation.
It's about the longevity of its business model, isn't it, really, and advertising. And one of the things there's been a lot of concern about is the way that people are accessing it now. In the olden days, people used to access it mainly on their computers, but a lot of people are using mobile devices. And a lot of concern about whether the advertisers are willing to pay so much for that.
They're willing to pay what they can get. There is a concern over advertising. The big news is General Motors has pulled its Facebook advertising out, and at the moment people don't get adverts on mobile. If you bring that, and I think that's what they're going to need to do to drive the revenue, you are going to turn people off.
David, massive demand. Third biggest market debut the US has ever seen. What kind of frenzy are we going to see tomorrow? And are these a good buy for people?
I think that's a bit of a crystal ball question, isn't it? I think maybe medium term there's the question mark over will we see the sort of returns. Tomorrow I'm sure we'll see massive interest. We've seen our clients trading it in a grey market, forecasting a market cap for them of 130 billion, which is about 30% more than people were talking about just a couple of weeks ago. So I think we will see a lot of demand. If we compare it with LinkedIn, which floated almost a year ago exactly, its shares started at $45 in the IPO, and on the first day they touched $120. So I don't think we'll see maybe the same sort of volatility for Facebook, but it'll be a really busy day for them.
But we're seeing that there's going to be more shares issued. They've stopped taking advanced orders, but we're seeing that early investors are actually going to be getting rid of more of their stock, cashing in. Does that suggest that they don't see this with long-term confidence?
I think that would be the concern when you have the likes of, for example, Goldman Sachs, a very early investor looking to get rid of more of its shares than maybe it was planning a few weeks ago. Goldman Sachs aren't stupid. They're not doing it for charity to give people more shares to buy. Maybe they do think this is a great opportunity to maximise our profit, and the potential from there could be a little bit more limited.
Rachel Clarke, how do you think this would change the Facebook business model?
They're going to have to make more money. From the product of Facebook is the users, the people are on it. That's the only thing they can sell. So to make more money, to meet the investors' requirements, they're going to have to keep doing that. So you're going to see more ways of monetizing. You're going to see it going on mobile. You're going to see potentially more ways of buying things within Facebook, and Facebook taking a cut. From a user, most people love what it does. It connects them with friends. It's how they sort of see what's going on, but they're going to get more advertising in it.
But I suppose the concern that a lot of people might have was how they're able to do that without invading your privacy further, without specifically targeting you, which Facebook users are already seeing very clearly, aren't they?
But that's what they want. Every single change they do tries to get more information about you. The recent change of timeline is about giving a bit of history and getting more information so they can sell that to advertisers. One of the things that we find is that it's actually not that easy to target tightly who you want. So from a business perspective, they're going to want more and more ability to find out the people they're after, and that means they're going to be after more information. You've got the backlash. People are more aware about the privacy. Facebook does actually have very, very good privacy controls. What they're praying for is that people don't necessarily use them.
What about Mark Zuckerberg himself? He's been obviously incredibly linked to the product. He's got a real persona. How do you think that will work with shareholders?
From my perspective, he's the maverick. He owns this. He's still going to have full control. But at this point, it's no longer his control. He's got another set of masters. He doesn't set the agenda. The investors are going to set the agenda. And I think that's going to produce some friction.
But he's going to be an incredibly wealthy man, isn't he, David?
Yes, he won't be short of a few cents, I think, after tomorrow. But I think that it's another concern. I think that it has, of course, very much been his baby over the years. It's been run as a private company. And I think the concern is the adaptation and the change from Facebook for having to answer to shareholders. How smoothly is that going to go? So I think it's a story we'll still be talking about a few months down the line after this.
OK, David Jones, Rachel Clarke, thank you.
Now, we've been hearing details about the Queen's Jubilee pageant. Well, this lunchtime, Her Majesty has been taking to the water with Prince Philip. I wonder if she's ever done that before. Taking a yellow duck marine boat tour around the Albert Dock in Liverpool. It's not quite as grand as next month's planned celebrations, but it's good fun nevertheless.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, we're going to be staying with talking about the water. How important is it to learn to swim? As budgets get squeezed, Sharon Davies puts the case for keeping